Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the gunman's location that I discovered in the JFK assassination. I'm going to show some more things and give it a little bit more details and stuff and show people some things that, when you look at something, it's hard to realize, when you're looking at this or looking at that and stuff like that. But when you start marking it down, you start looking at the locations and, being there, and the experience, the atmosphere there, and seeing how really confined it is and stuff like that, you understand a lot more when you look into this kind of case. Now, yesterday I didn't post no videos or nothing like that because I was trying to take a break from it because I had a lot of house cleaning to do and stuff like that, and I had to scrub my house down and everything like that because it's been about a week before I've been able to completely scrub down my house. So I had to take a break so I could get that done. Plus, with the weather going up and down, with the weather being high, humidity's high, and everything else, my allergies been kicking in and everything like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a video here right now, and I'm gonna show you some things. Hopefully, you'll understand a lot more when I point out these locations. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you this image here. This is one of the images we took when we was down there. Now, when you look at this, and you look at the Dilly Plaza and stuff like that, and you kind of think about some things when you're there, especially when you already know location of the gunman. Okay, but a lot of people don't understand this. Okay, when wherever they set their locations at, and actually a pure assassin as well, when they plan to assassinate JFK in this location here, and as I point out, it was very well planned, because when you look at it and you start looking at things and stuff, and then you place the gunman in a location, which I'm about to do right now. I want to show you something here, which you probably can't see it here, but we're going to do it this way so you can see most of it right now. Okay, because I know I'm over here. All right, now we marked the location of the gunman here, and then the gunman on the second floor of the county records building here, which is this where he was at. And then we had the babushka lady, Oswald's location, and then the two gunmen inside shelter number 3. Now, when you look at it from this angle here, you're like, everybody was in plain view of everyone. Even assassins were. Okay? When you look at it this view or any other view now, when you mark it down on the map and stuff, you get more of the surroundings, you get more of the details, and you can understand a lot more as well. And then when I'm sitting there, I was like, okay, well, with the babushka lady here, she has in plain view the two gunmen inside shelter number 3, Oswald's location. The gunman over here, because all she had to do is turn around right there. The gunman's location on the second floor of the county records building, and the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. And the more we look at it, the more we view, is like, wait a minute, they always had each other's view in sight. Now I'm going to show you something here, which a lot of people don't understand. Okay, we're going to take this image here, and we're going to mark the locations of each of the gunmen and show you the people that had it in their view at the same time. Okay, the gunman on the second floor of the county records building. Okay, he might not have the gunman up here in his view because it's right above him, but he had the view of Oswald, and he had the view of the two gunmen on the grassy knoll, and he also had the view of the babushka lady right here. So see, everybody was in his view, except like I said, for the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, because it's just right above him. Now let's look at the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. In his view, he would have the babushka lady in his view. He wouldn't have the view of the gunman on the second floor of the county records building, but he would still see the babushka lady. He would still see Oswald's location and the two gunmen inside of shelter number 3. So he had them in their view as well. Now we're going to look at the gunman's view on the grassy knoll. Not only they could see the babushka lady over here, but they also had the view of where Lee Harvey Oswald was on the 6th floor of Texas School Book Depository. They had the view of the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, and they also had the view of the gunman on the second floor of the county records building. Same as when we go into the babushka lady. She has everybody's view in her sights. The two gunmen inside shelter number 3, Oswald's location, gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, and the gunman on the second floor of the county records building. Okay, now Oswald's view. Not only Oswald's view has the location of the babushka lady he could see right there as well. But he can also has from this window here, which we looked out this window on the top view, and we could see every and how close it was. It's actually a lot closer than what we when we're looking at images and stuff like that. When you look at being there and you look at them locations, like geez, piece, it seems like when you look at an image, it's like there's a far distance. But when you're actually there, you're like, oh man, you can see everything plain as day from this location. So Oswald could see the gunman inside shelter number 3, the gunman on the second floor of the county records building, the gunman on the rooftop of the county record building, and even the babushka lady. So he had all that in his view. So when we look at this, as I pointed out, okay, everybody has a view of these gunmen from one another when they're in these locations. Now, that what made me think about, well, this is another reason why they would not place nobody in the Dal-Tex building. Because if you place somebody in the Dal-Tex building, all right, first off, he could not have no clear view to this gunman here, or this gunman up here. Okay, wouldn't even have a clear view to Oswald. Wouldn't have a clear view to the babushka lady, and definitely wouldn't have no clear view to the gunman inside of shelter number 3. So placing anybody in the Dal-Tex building will be senseless. Because the way they're positioned, if you look at this, the way they're positioned, they're keeping their eyes on one another. Okay, as you see here. Oswald could see the gunman inside shelter number 3, gunman on a second floor county records building, gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, and the babushka lady. So he could see everybody is in his plain sight from this location. As I pointed out, the gunman on the grassy knoll. Oswald's in plain sight of him, the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building is in plain sight of him, gunman on the second floor of the county records building is in plain sight, and even the babushka lady. So this location, you have a sight for everybody. Now remember, when you're looking at these trees and stuff, you got to remember and imagine, back then they was smaller, they wasn't as big as they are today, and you know there was a gap in between the trees and everything else like that during that time in between the leaves and stuff. Remember, we're looking at everything 55 years later. But like I said, when you pay attention and you start looking at the locations of the gunmen, and you can understand the reason why now they pick these certain locations, because they want to keep an eye on everybody. Just like this gunman here. Okay, he wanted to keep an eye on Oswald, but at the same time he wanted to keep an eye on the 2 gunmen inside shelter number 3 to cover his back so they could start taking their distract shots, which you see the curve shot, manhole cover shot is right here, one right here, one right here, and you see that lines right back up to the rooftop of the county records building. So he keep an eye here. He sees these guys taking shots here. He knows he can start taking his distract shots, same as this gunman right here on the second floor. He can see shots being fired from there, so it's time for him to start taking distract shots on this side, which he takes one shot to the steps here, and then one shot to the sign on a lamppost right here. We have the babushka lady right here, has her view of all these gunmen and their locations. She knows when to turn the light on and when not to turn the light on. So see, the more details that you find in the location of the gunman, you place them back in the location, and then you start analyzing it and everything else, you can make more sense of it, you can make more understanding out of it. And by doing this, and as you see here, you know, these are the best locations to actually assassinate somebody. Because remember, JFK is coming down Elm Street here. They wouldn't place no gunman over here in this building here. They wouldn't place them nowhere else. These are the proper locations, just like even the South Side. People talk about the South Side, which we'll pull up right here. They talk about a gunman over here. There would be senseless having a gunman over here because there wouldn't be, nobody can actually have a good view from these locations to here, as I've been pointing out to people. And I tell people this, okay? Which let's go ahead and bring up a view where everybody can see, just like a gunman on this gunman inside shelter number 3. Okay, if there was a gunman inside of Dal-Tex building, there wouldn't be no backup there. There wouldn't be no backup. They'll take their shots, but where are they going to back up to? They're not going to be able to back up to nobody, because they can't tell if these gunmen right here is going to take a shot or not. Because you can't see from this location here, you cannot see the shelter number 3. Oswald's location, the gunman on the rooftop of county records building, the gunman on the second floor of county records building, has a plain view to the 2 gunmen inside shelter number 3. So if they was to take their shots, we got these backups right here, these gunmen right here. Oswald wasn't there because Oswald was there, but he wasn't there to be a backup shooter. He was there to assassinate JFK, which I point out, you know, that Patsy thing, if you watch my video and stuff, Oswald might have not known that these guys was here. But let's think about this as well. To pull this off, and if they want to blame Oswald for, being a patsy themselves, if you place a gunman inside a Dal-Tex building, first it's going to lead them right back to Mr. Zapruder, because Mr. Zapruder, these two floors here, if you watch my cursor, these two floors here was being run by Mr. Zapruder, okay? And actually, Mr. Zapruder's office is right here. If you watch my cursor, it's right here, which I'll go ahead and I'll pull this up here. Right here was Mr. Zapruder's office, okay? So if there was a gunman there, that would definitely put Mr. Zapruder, okay, as one of the assassins. So it'd be stupid to place any gunman if Zapruder was behind it. Well, on Mrs. Setzman, if Mr. Zapruder was behind it, it'd be stupid to place any gunman in this location here too, because that will lead right back to Mr. Zapruder. But when you look at this, like I said, when you pay attention, this floor and this floor is being run by Mr. Zapruder, so he's covered both these floors here. Okay, but they want to make sure that Oswald gets the blame for it, so that's why you place a gunman right here and a gunman right here, so you're close to him, so you can have them shots from behind, so they could pull it off saying Oswald took them, because the shots are coming from behind, especially to the manhole cover, and the curb shot and everything else is coming from behind. Only 2 shots came from, not in front, but from the right side, and that was from shelter number 3. But like I said, when you look at this, and you place everything back in its place, and you look at the perspective of what's going on there, you get more of an understanding, the reason why they pick these locations. And it's understandable the reason why they pick these locations. Excuse me. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to make this video here and show people, so you get more of an understanding of the reason why they pick these locations, so they can keep an eye on one another. This is the reason why they pick these certain locations. If you place a gunman inside of the Dal-Tex building, he could not see Oswald. He could not see the guy on the rooftop of County Records building. He could not keep an eye on the gunman inside on the second floor of County Records building. He could not keep an eye on the 2 gunmen inside shelter number 3. So to place anybody in the Dal-Tex building would be senseless. That's why people, actually, the reason why people chose the Dal-Tex building as where their assassin was, because they want to try to prove that Oswald's a patsy. That's the reason why they chose the Dal-Tex building. Other than that, there was no gunman inside the Dal-Tex building on a rooftop or anything else, because you could not see. Why would you want to have a gunman up here on the rooftop of Dal-Tex building when you got a gunman over here on top of the roof, top of the County Records building? That's be senseless as well. So you see, there's a lot of things you have to look at when you're doing an investigation. And as you see here, when you place the gunmen back in their locations and the people back in locations and you study it, you get more of an understanding. They wanted to keep an eye on each other. Okay, this is nothing too. They want to be able to keep an eye on Oswald, and they want to be able to keep an eye on each other so they can have each other's back. Because this gunman here, 2 gunmen on a grassy knoll, was watching each other's backs. They weren't worried about Oswald. They were worried about setting him up as the patsy to them. But Oswald did, in fact, take 2 shots that day, which I show this, and I can prove this in my research. But, like I said, Oswald probably didn't know these guys was there. There's a reason why. This is the reason why they pick these locations, so they can keep an eye on one another. And with the Babushka lady being present right here, everybody still has her in view too, so she wouldn't be shot or anything else like that. So I just want to make this video here and show a little bit more information, give this out and give you people more understanding of these locations. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Always in the description down below. You find a site where you can order my book, Evidence of Conspiracy, the only book you ever need in JFK assassination. And don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, and you all have a pleasant, pleasant day.